Come in, Natasha. Come in. Hi, Natasha.
Sir,
How are you?
It's been so long.
It's so good to see you. Come, take a seat.
Despite the white beard, you still look youthful.
If you feel young, you will look young. As I always say, what can I get you to drink?
I'm alright, sir. Thank you for taking time to meet me at such short notice.
I'm retired now. I have all the time in the world.
Sir, if you don't mind, I would like to have this interview recorded.
No problem. Go ahead.
As I mentioned over the phone, my editor has assigned me to write something different for this year's Teachers' Day. Instead of the usual stories about students talking about their teachers making an impact in their lives, we're looking for interesting stories from teachers who have stories about their students. Students who have touched their lives, or students who have influenced a positive change in their lives. You mentioned you may have a story for me?
Give me a moment. You know, when you were in pre-U, I was the care teacher of this class. Usually in every class, there will be a handful of students who will be the teacher's favorites. But this class was different. Every single one of them was a gem. It was a joy to teach them. I had an incredible bonding with them, you know. This was just not my class. It was my family.
Just a minute, sir.
Like many classes in the school, my class was also a mini United Nations. We had students from many parts of the world with diverse talents. Not surprisingly, we had a number of student counselors as well as student ambassadors in my class. I saw my students at least once a day for contact time. Usually, we would meet somewhere outdoors within the school campus. The courtyard was one of our preferred venues. Each time I was with them, I had a feeling of being at home. We could talk about anything. My teaching colleagues at that time agreed that 4C1 was one of the best classes in the school. Initially, few of the boys were quite difficult to handle. But after the discipline master Mr. Samley visited the class during one of his daily rounds, the boys got the message. Discipline master Samley was a former army officer. As such, he was regimental in his dealings with students, especially those with discipline issues. They avoided any confrontation with him.
Wake up. Why are you sleeping? Oh, sorry, sir. Sorry. Okay, I'm your discipline master. When I talk, you listen. Those three behind. Put your legs down. You have a problem with me? Why you look at me like that for what? Huh? Okay, three things I want to tell you, especially the guys. Your hair, your uniform, and don't smoke. And your hair, don't bleach. Don't tell me it's natural. When they check, they're going to spray your hair black. You want it? Please don't have your hair cover your face so that we can recognize you. Okay, so please don't break the rules. If you break the rules, you come and face me, then you know what you get from me. You want to try me, you just come and go ahead. Did I make myself clear or not? Yes. Louder! Yes. I can't hear you. Louder, please.
Yes.
Do you remember the art teacher, Mr. Alan Ng? He was really an inspiring teacher with lots of talent. Art is one of my favorite subjects. I used to observe Alan's art lessons with 4C1 as and when I could. Alan requested me to be present one day specifically as he had something to share with the class.
Class, I have some good news for you. Okay, I have selected one student from this class to do a painting for our guest of honor for this year's speech day. He is no other than our famous young artist in this school, Long Long here.
Long Long was the gentle giant of the class. He was popular with most teachers and students in school. He was not only a talented artist but an active basketball player as well.
So this is like a drum circle. What you gotta do is just make sound. You don't have to be correct at all. Because this is just a point of view that you want to communicate to your friends, opposite you, next to you, anywhere else, alright?
Another lesson I enjoyed attending with the class was performing arts under Mr. Philip Tan, a man of multiple talents. He's one man who makes music look so simple. Things were going very well in school for me. But it wasn't the same at home. There was a cold war going on between Vivian and me. She used to work as an executive officer in the civil service then. After work, she usually sits with Jonathan to coach him in his schoolwork, while I sit away from them, marking my students' assignments.
Okay, why are fish able to survive in water but not humans? Now it is a 2 marks answer. So what have you that you gave me? It is because they have gill. Understand what this whole thing means?
Yes.
Okay, darling. Now mommy shall go for a shower. After you finish your work, you shall go and play with daddy. Alright? Okay, see you later.
Thank you, Mommy.
Jonathan will usually come to me to have some fun after finishing his schoolwork. He will come up with an idea to role play as some Hollywood hero, and I will play along with him till Mummy comes into the picture.
Indiana Jones, let's have a duel.
Let's fight it, Pirate of the Caribbean.
I'm gonna kill you this time.
Excuse me, what's happening there?
A few weeks after Sam Lee's meeting with the class, the boys caught up with me to express their grievances about him. They complained that he was too strict and unreasonable. I had to explain to them that Sam was just doing his job, and it's essential for every school to have someone like him taking charge of discipline. I also told them that Sam Lee was actually a nice person and was concerned about their well-being. Initially they did not agree, but gradually they realized the truth about Sam Lee. Within weeks, the boys got close to me. Jordan, James and Morris became my regular workout khakis at the school gym. They appointed me as their unofficial personal trainer. Being an active sportsman since school days also helped me to bond better with the rest of the class. After school, I usually joined them for games. Karen loved hockey, and she organized a game almost every week for the class. We started off with only a few players, but eventually more than half the class joined us. Some of the pre-U students also joined us regularly. Peggy was the best female table tennis player in the school. The entire class will turn up to support her whenever she took part in any tournament. That year, she took part in the St Francis Open and competed against the boys. I invited Vivian and Jonathan to come and watch Peggy play. As we were not really in talking terms, Vivian was not comfortable coming to school to meet my students. She instead sent her father to bring Jonathan to my school. So grandpa and grandson were there to support Peggy. Peggy won 3rd place in the competition. All of us were very proud of her. Jonathan was happy because he met my 4C1 students for the first time. He had always wanted to meet them.
son.
Mom, do you know Brian's mom fetches him to and from school every day? And she cooks for him. And she is always there when he needs her. Why can't you be like that?
Well, son, I would love to do that. But I can't, darling. I have to work. I'm not as fortunate as Brian's mother. Brian's father is earning enough to pay for all the bills. My husband, your father, is not able to do that. I don't know when he will ever be ready.
Well, son, I don't know when I'll ever be ready. But if your mother cannot wait, she can always leave me and find another man who's more capable. After all, she's still young and she's still beautiful.
Now look, son, if I'm going to divorce your father, I will not be going around looking for another man. I'll rather remain single and independent. I'm not going to depend on another man.
Stop arguing. It's my fault. I started this, but please stop arguing.
Jonathan, I'm sorry. Mommy and I shouldn't have spoken like that in your presence. We'll try not to do that again, okay? Jonathan? Hey, I have some good news for you. Next weekend, I'm bringing my students to the beach. You want to come along?
Yes, I love to.
Okay, why don't you practice all your magic tricks? Because you may get a chance to perform in front of them.
Really?
Yes.
I'll get some tips from Grandpa. I'll SMS him now.
Okay, why don't you give me a hug before that? Good night.
Good night, Dad.
Hey, son, good night. Sleep tight, yeah?
Good night.
Yeah, good night.
The very next day, my father-in-law was there to prepare his only grandson for his debut performance. Jonathan was very close to his grandpa then. Grandpa would put aside anything just to spend time with Jonathan. They were the best of buddies. Jonathan learnt a lot of magic tricks from Grandpa.
There are two things to remember. One is have your audience in front of you before you do any performance. And the next thing which is important is you do not do the same trick twice. When you're finished, take a bow and step back.
Okay, let's do some stretching before we go for the run, okay? Okay, follow Daddy. Come. This is to stretch the muscles here. Okay?
Daddy,
Yeah?
can I ask you something?
Sure.
Why do women talk so much?
Why do you ask?
Do you know, Mom? She talks to Grandma every day on the phone. And there's so much to talk about.
Yes, Jonathan, I know that. I'm married to your mom for more than 12 years now.
But Grandpa and you don't talk so much.
Okay, let's have a man-to-man talk about women.
Sure, I'm ready.
Research has proven that women talk a lot more than men. On a single day, an average man speaks about 10,000 words. Can you guess how many words a woman speaks in a single day?
15,000 words?
No, son, it's more than that. An average woman speaks 25,000 words in a single day.
Whoa, that's more than double.
Most men go to work, right? So when they go to work, let's say they spend about 8,000 words at their working place. When they come back home, they will have only 2,000 words to speak, right? Now, for a woman, assuming she speaks 15,000 words at her working place, when she comes back home, she has how many words to spare?
10,000 words?
Yes, when she comes back home, she will have 10,000 words to speak at home.
Is that why Grandpa doesn't reply Grandma when Grandma keeps talking and talking? What if the woman is a housewife?
That's a good question. If the woman is a housewife, she will wait for her husband and children to come back home and then she will unleash all the 25,000 words. But let's say if the husband and wife are not on talking terms, like your mommy and me, the child will get all the 25,000 words.
Oh no!
So, do you think it's a good idea for Mummy to stop working and stay at home?
No, Daddy, no way. Mommy should keep on working. I don't want her to attack me with 25,000 words a day.
But all you have to do is just listen.
But Dad, how true is this?
Well, I have lived with 4 women and I think it's very true.
4 women? How can you live with 4 women when you only have 1 wife?
Hey, take it easy, son. I'm talking about my father's mother, my mother's mother, my own mother, and your mother.
Oh, I see.
But son, I don't want you to get the wrong impression about women. Women talk a lot, yes, but they care a lot about their families and their loved ones. So don't get the wrong impression about them, okay?
I understand, Daddy.
Okay, shall we go for a run now?
Okay.
Come. The trip to the beach had to be postponed due to bad weather. Instead of that, we stayed in school to play games. The boys were looking forward to playing beach soccer at Sentosa. We had no choice but to settle for street soccer in school. Jonathan came along and joined us for soccer. He had actually planned to talk to Jacqueline and was waiting for the right opportunity to approach her when she was alone.
Hey, Jonathan. You tired?
No, just taking a rest.
You want something to drink?
No, I'm fine. Thank you. But do you know my dad said something nice about you?
Really? Mr. Victor said something about me?
Yes, he said he would love to have a responsible daughter like you.
Really? That's so sweet of him.
Oh, can I have your handphone number? I want to SMS you.
Sure. Give me your handphone. I'll key in my number for you.
Oh, can you hold on to my handphone for a while? I want to join my daddy again.
Sure. What about you? Would you like to have a sister like me?
Jonathan also had a chance to perform his magic tricks. He had his spectators spellbound. Among the boys in my class, Maurice became very fond of Jonathan. He was like a big brother to my son. That year, Jonathan was preparing for the new paper's Be Yourself Day. He was hoping to get hold of a very unique costume to wear to school and take part in a competition. Maurice gave him the idea of wearing a robot's costume. Art teacher Alan had designed a piece earlier for our school musical. Maurice got Alan to alter the costume to fit Jonathan. Within a couple of days, Jonathan was ready.
Okay, Jonathan, we're gonna play some music. I'd like you to move like a robot, okay? Okay, done.
Let me explain, I'm not built for the rain. It makes me weak, I get stiff joints quick. I start to rust, completely still. I gather dust and wait, 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 and wait.
Hello?
Hi, is this Jackie?
Yeah, this is she.
Jackie, this is Jonathan, your care teacher's son.
Oh, hi. How are you?
Not very well. I need to talk to you.
Why? What happened?
I think my mom and dad are gonna break up.
Oh, dear. I'm so sorry to hear that.
They have been having frequent quarrels. Last night was quite bad. My dad, he left the house and he didn't come back till morning. My mom was so upset that she cried the whole night. I had to be with her to console her.
Do you know why your dad was so angry? I mean, I've never seen Mr. Victor lose his temper before.
I really don't know, but I don't want them to break up. I love them both a lot, and it will break my heart if they get a divorce. You're like an elder sister to me, Jackie. Please stop this. Please stop this breakup.
I will, Jonathan. Mr. Victor's our care teacher, and we care a lot about him. I'll do whatever I can to help you. Now I want you to get a good night's sleep, and I'll call you tomorrow. But you can call me anytime. Okay?
Okay, Jackie. Good night.
Good night.
I still remember the day after the bad quarrel with Vivian. I had to meet my class for my first history lesson of the week. I wasn't my usual self. The students would have probably guessed that something was not right. As a single person, he was responsible for the death of millions of people worldwide. How many million people died? Can anybody tell me? James?
15 million?
15 million? No. Who else? Rabia?
20 million?
20 million? No. It's more than that. Anybody else? Yes, Jordan.
50 million?
Yes. 50 million people died worldwide because of one man, Hitler. Now, we all know that Singapore was dragged into the war, right? Why did Japan choose to attack Singapore during this time?
Because when Germany attacked Britain, the British returned to their homeland to protect it because it was their priority and not Singapore. That's why Singapore and Malaysia were attacked, because they were abandoned.
Good. Thank you, Karen. It looks like only Karen has read the textbook. The rest of you, I don't think so. Please read the textbook for the next lesson. Is that clear? Yes, sir. I'll see you all tomorrow.
Jackie, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, something very important I want to share with all of you. Yeah. I received a call from Mr. Victor's son, Jonathan, last night. He told me about something that has been happening in his family, and I hope that whatever I'm about to tell you, you'll keep it strictly confidential. Agreed?
Yeah.
I'll make it very brief. Mr. and Mrs. Victor might be splitting up, and their only child, Jonathan, doesn't want that to happen. He has appealed to us to help him to stop this breakup. So what do you think we should do?
Well, look, this is Mr. Victor's family problem. How can we get involved?
But Jonathan has appealed to us to help.
Yes, I think we must do something, at least for the sake of Jonathan.
But we are teenagers. How can we solve adult problems?
Why don't we speak to our school counselor, Mr. Ian?
Yes, I think we can get some professional advice from him.
Now, before I say anything further, I need to know something from all of you. Besides what Jackie has told me, does anybody else know about this incident?
It's just us.
Now, I need you to assure me that you will keep whatever we discuss in this room amongst ourselves confidential. This is your care teacher's family, and the last thing we want is the whole school talking about it. You know, it's very thoughtful of you to come and see me and share with me this concern of yours. This is a very sensitive issue, and you know, we need to tread on it very carefully. We don't know what the problem is between Mr. and Mrs. Victor. You know, couples break up for various reasons. It could be a lack of communication between each other. It could be a financial issue. It could be a betrayal of trust. It's a very sensitive issue, and we must thread it very carefully before we decide on anything. If it is an issue dealing with finances, or if it's an issue dealing with communication, well, counselors can help them. But if it's an issue dealing with the betrayal of trust, if it involves a third party, well, then breaking up is inevitable.
What do you mean by a third-party involvement?
Well, what I mean by that is if Mr. or Mrs. Victor have a relationship outside their marriage.
Oh, I see.
I think we can find that out.
So how are you going to do it?
We'll let you know once it's done, and we promise it'll be discreet. We'll consult you further after that. Thank you for your time, sir. Let's go, guys.
My students knew that Mr. Edmund Ho, their English teacher, was my closest buddy in school. They sent him to find out the truth discreetly from me the following day.
Hey, still working, bro?
Yeah, bro. I don't feel like going home as yet.
So, things. How's your class?
Alright, bro. I'm really blessed with a very good class. Of course, some of the boys are quite playful, but I know they'll wake up at the right time. I'm closely monitoring them. By the way, how is Jacqueline performing as a student council president?
Oh, she's good. I'm glad Mariam and I selected her as the president. She's dependable and all her counselors respect her.
That's why I recommended her. She's really dependable.
So, bro, how's everything at home? I sense something is not right.
How can you tell?
Hey, come on, man. I know you for how many years now? Your face has been looking like that for a while.
Yeah, things are not very well between Vivian and me. We are actually contemplating separation.
Are you serious? Why?
You know, lately we've been quarreling a lot. Sometimes even in the presence of Jonathan. He's a big boy now, you know. He knows what's going on. It's not good for a child to stay in a home where the parents are always arguing. I'd rather we get separated and let Jonathan be with the mum.
But why are you guys arguing? You guys were so much in love before you all got married.
It's because of something I did a few years back, bro.
Eh, don't tell me you got involved with another woman.
Nothing of that sort.
Then?
When Jonathan started going to school, Vivian wanted to quit and be a homemaker. I was in advertising then. I was not financially stable, so I told her to give me a couple of years. She agreed. But within the next couple of months, something happened.
What?
I resigned from my job.
Why?
I had a heated argument with an unreasonable boss, and I quit after giving him a piece of my mind.
Tell me about it. I almost did that once at my previous company.
After that, I could not get a job for more than a year. Vivian was very angry with me. Our savings were getting depleted, and she could not quit her job. In fact, she was the main income earner for the family for many years. I'm earning more than her now, but I still need her to carry on working for at least quite some time.
Bro, just give her some time. She'll understand. Don't rush into things.
You know, whenever she's stressed, she will pass remarks to hurt my feelings. She blames me for everything, bro.
Hang in there, bro. For now, just avoid arguing with her. Right? Just focus on your job and your son. Look at it this way. If he had not resigned from the job, you wouldn't be in St Francis today. You're doing very well here. The students really look up to you.
Thanks, bro.
Hey, cheers, man.
I'll see you tomorrow.
See ya.
That weekend, the students who met up with Ian were at my flat for tea. They came on the pretext of meeting my wife and trying her cookies. They had learned earlier from Mr. Edmund Ho that no third party was involved in the problems between my wife and me. Just like how they were in school, the students were all in a jovial mood, having a ball of a time, poking fun at each other. Vivian and I had no clues that the students had a serious agenda for the visit till Jacqueline started speaking.
Mr. and Mrs. Victor, there's something really important we have to discuss with you, and I hope that you will not misunderstand us. It's something about the two of you and Jonathan. Can we ask Jonathan to go to his room?
Sure. Jonathan, why don't you go up to your room for a while? I'll call you down later.
No problem, Dad. See you guys.
As you were saying, Jacqueline?
Yeah, but I don't know where to start.
Well, Mr. Victor, are you guys getting a divorce?
I beg your pardon, Mrs. Victor. It's not Mr. Victor at all. It's Jonathan. He told me that the two of you were going to get separated, and he really doesn't want that to happen. He loves the two of you very much, and he doesn't want to be in a position where he has to choose between the two of you.
Sir, we know we have no right to intrude into private lives, but we want to help in any way we can, just to prevent this family from breaking up.
We may not be matured enough to understand the problems between the two of you, but we just want to let you know that Jonathan wants the two of you to be together. He doesn't want to see the two of you get separated. He loves the two of you very much.
We've only known Jonathan for a short time, and we've become very fond of him. He's a great guy. He's like a brother to us, and we're here to speak for him.
You may have your reasons for separating, but for Jonathan's sake, I think you should reconsider.
I think we have said enough already. I'm sorry if we have hurt your feelings by saying anything.
No, Jacqueline, not at all.
I think it's time we took our leave. Thank you again, Mrs. Victor, for your great food and great hospitality. We'll see you in school, sir. Bye.
Vivian and I never spoke anything after the students left. I expected her to say something, but she didn't utter a word. She was in deep thought for a couple of days. The following Monday after school, Karen organized another hockey game. That day, there was a full turnout. As we were about to end the game, I had a pleasant surprise. My wife and my son were in school to fetch me home. After we finished the hockey game, we had another surprise. Lo and behold, to everyone's amazement, my wife was actually playing table tennis with Peggy. I knew that Vivian played table tennis reasonably well. We used to do it during our courting days. Jonathan also played table tennis with his mum for the first time. My son discovered something new about his mum. It was really nice to see Vivian having fun with the kids. That day was a turning point in our lives. I saw a change in my wife. She had never made an effort to come to my school before. Without saying anything, Vivian showed all of us that she was making an effort to work things out. The students who were responsible for this were delighted. Their efforts had paid off. Things started falling in place for my family from that day. Communication between us improved, and there was more peace at home. Jonathan loved the change he saw in us, and he actually started performing better in school. Jackie became his best friend. The following year, I was promoted to become the head of humanities at St Francis. My new pay package made it possible for Vivian to quit her job and become a homemaker. Students from my class had actually brought my family together. Till this day, I'm grateful to them for what they did.
Well, I've been pulled together by the love that I feel around me, pulled together by your smile. Yes, I've been pulled together and I'm much more than how you found me, pulled together by your style. Because you pulled together and I've got all my friends and family pulled together like you do. I saw you pull together and I felt all your love surround me. You pulled together, pulled me through. Pull together. Pull together. You know I've been down, been shoved around. I shed so many tears. You see me broke up now. You see me choked up. You see me crushed by my fears. But now you pull together and I got a new start. Oh yes, you pull together right from the heart. Oh, you pull together one communal soul. And you pulled me together and you made me whole. Pull together. Now can we pull together and just leave all the fights behind us? Pull together, me and you. 'Cause if we pull together and we just act a little kinder, we'll pull